Welcome to Behind the Bower. On our podcast, we offer inspiring conversations, a fresh look at arts in our community, and provide spotlights on artists, performers, collaborative partners, educators, and organizations. We want to celebrate the universal expression of human experiences through arts, culture, and our community. I'm Susan Martin, Executive Director of Bower Center for the Arts this morning, and joining me is Thomas. Thomas, is it Killian?
Yes.
Thomas Killian, who is one of our new instructors. So good morning.
Good morning.
We're glad to help you, or glad to have you. I'm just coming off that Memorial Day holiday weekend, so I'm just getting back into the swing of things. That little 3-day break can really
Absolutely
put you a little behind. So Thomas is one of our new clay and pottery instructors, and we're very excited to have him joining Bower Center team, our Bower Center family. We hope everyone had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. And was there anything you did relaxing or fun this past weekend?
I taught a clay class.
You did teach a clay class.
Yeah, it was a good
awesome.
day.
Good. Yeah. We on today's episode, we're just really excited to learn more about your passion for the arts, share a little bit more about the classes that you're bringing to the Bower Center. And for our listeners and new listeners that may be joining us on this podcast, our mission at Bower Center for the Arts is to make visual and performing arts available to our community. And one of the ways that we do this is through adult and youth arts educational opportunities. So, and no experience necessary. We always tell a lot of folks they feel a little sometimes that they're have to have some experience in the form of art that they may be coming and participating in. And while we do offer some classes that might be at an intermediate or advanced level for those that are more experienced, we always have opportunities for folks to come in because we just want them to have fun, to learn something new, and be creative. So, Thomas, let's start a little bit having you share a little bit about yourself with our listeners, and kind of, then we'll talk a little bit more about your involvement in arts and kind of how it came about.
Absolutely. So I am from Chatham, which I'm grateful for Bower because you accepted a foreigner.
Yeah.
So, but I own and operate a fully equipped pottery studio. And as of this year, I'm officially a professional, full-time.
Awesome.
So that's been fun. I've started pottery, at the tender age of 8.
Wow.
Yes. And ever since I've been addicted. It's one of those mediums that once you touch clay,
Right.
you just can't get away from it. So I grew up in North Carolina, just inland from Manio, which is the place where one of the first colonies was present, and we lost them. So the lost colony.
Right.
So I lived in the swamps, and there was rather nothing to do, and especially when it came to the arts. So I lived on an old farmstead, and I saw crayfish digging up the clay, building their chimney stacks, if you will.
Right.
And I saw them as works of art.
Right.
So I would cut these chimneys and put them on like cedar planks, and I would admire them.
Wow.
And people said, is that something that you threw?
Yeah.
I thought, no, but I could.
There you go.
I can make them. So I took a beginner's class in town, and then I was quickly known as the master potter. And so, it's kind of like an endearing term, but it kind of stuck with me throughout my career. So
Yeah. Did you, throughout your schooling, were you involved in the arts as a youth throughout school, or did you have access to that?
Well, I opened up my first fully functional studio when I was actually 11.
Wow.
Yeah, I saved a lot of money. And Dad and I, we kind of pieced together different materials to make this shack, So I really did pottery throughout my high school years. I actually started to show internationally in high school. And then, unfortunately, I kind of just stopped. I went into ministry full time as a pastor, and I was teaching. I was trained as kind of like a teacher, Christian education. And then I realized that my calling was pottery. So I went back to my first love, and that's why I'm here.
Awesome. We'll have to get you the opportunity to meet some of our studio artists who are also potters, and they've both had different
Hmm.
experiences in how they came about. And Virginia, who is our clay studio coordinator, who helps us to coordinate the ins and outs of running our clay studio, she actually has just come into the love of pottery like
Right.
in the last I think 4 or 5 years maybe, and primarily because as a artist who has a studio in our space, she's actually formerly a photographer, graphic designer, and then did that as a career. Then did graphic arts, and then took a class at Bauer Center. Fell in love with clay and pottery, and then
Wow.
that's all she wrote. And she's
Amazing.
just really amazing. And she's got you two. We'll get you two together because she's got some amazing ideas for some different forms of pottery that we'd like to bring opportunities for students to do at Bauer Center in the future. So
All right.
yeah, lots of neat things. So we're really excited to have you guys, have you joining the group. And this is actually for our listeners, the Clay and Pottery Studio. I mean, it's quite small,
Hmm.
but we do our best to accommodate the students. But I will say that being at Bauer Center now for a little over 5 years as the executive director, that is our most popular program and or classes, both youth and adults. Of course, kids love it. We always have to offer it during summer camps, which are coming up, and because they, we tell them and we tell the parents, we're like, yeah, they're going to get a little dirty. They really love to do things with their hands, and it's really fun to watch them. It's fun to watch the adults too, with when they're just creating and what they come up with.
Completely.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So tell a little bit about your experience. When did you officially? You talked about opening your studio at the age of 11. Were you teaching others at that time as well?
We had a few people stop in,
Uh huh.
and we kind of bounced different ideas off of one another, a lot of inspiration. So at that point, I kind of wanted to see artistic economy. In fact, my father started IBX Arts, which is no longer, but it was rather a big deal because we were the only ones that were actually creating like a collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we started to kind of, I wouldn't say teach,
Mm-hmm.
but kind of drive other artists to be more open minded in how they approached art.
Right. Right. So how long have you been actually what you would say officially teaching others?
Yeah, I did a lot of demonstratings,
Okay.
uh, really nationally, ever since college. I was actually in collaboration with North Carolina Cultural Resources to demonstrate at some of their heritage sites,
Mm-hmm.
particularly plantations. So I would demonstrate or teach in that sense. I never had the opportunity to actually sit down and have a class. I had a waiting list forever,
Right. Right.
and I had such a small studio.
Yes.
And at the Bower, we have a small studio, but we're doing big things.
Right.
And uh, that's what I like to think about Bower as kind of the microcosm of the American dream
Mm-hmm.
of starting out with something small and doing big things.
Right. Well, it's been really interesting too, as I've watched some of our adult students that started out in some of the beginner classes and now have been taking for quite a few years. We had to move in the direction of offering open studio hour opportunities
Mhm.
where they can just come in, and create, and or they've actually started putting little studios in their homes, but they don't have the ability to fire. So they don't have the kiln or sometimes the tools and the glazes. So we do offer that now because of the growth that we've seen in this community, that they can create at home, but then they can come in and do a firing fee to utilize our kiln and, and do that type of stuff. So we've had to get creative
Mhm.
and change the ways that we are offering programming because of
It's beautiful.
growth. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And that's something that we're really excited to see. We've actually, I hate to say that we've lost a few students, but that they've actually gone out on their own and actually put studios in their own homes where they have their own kilns and are doing their own work now, which is crazy, but it's great to see that they truly fall in love with it, and this is something that they want to continue to do.
That's great because
Yeah.
I often introduce myself as a clay addict.
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
said,
I
it's
think there's a lot of people out there that could agree with that they get addicted to it, and it's
yeah,
just something.
you had to bring it home.
Right, right, yeah. I have to say that that's one class that I have not yet had the chance to do a lot as the director there. And we as a small staff keep talking about the fact that we want to just have a small staff day where we get to go down and somebody gets to kind of teach us, but just have fun in the clay studio because through the 3 or 4 of us, none of us have had the time or opportunity to go in there and actually, do something. I have taken one of our workshops one year. We made Christmas tree ornaments, and I did do that workshop that time to make some gifts for my family. But I can definitely see how you can get addicted to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just so much fun because you just never know sometimes, especially if you're throwing on the wheel, sometimes you may be thinking it's going to be one thing, but it might go in another direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Right. Yeah. So you were mentioning kind of like your earlier days, and talk a little bit about, there are so many different forms of clay.
Mm-hmm.
Tell a little bit about that. And I know that there are individuals that still do use clay from the earth,
Mm-hmm.
that has not, versus what we purchase for our students. Tell a little bit about that.
Often if you go to like a classroom setting, you don't want to create a lot of mess, so you'll have an oil-based
Mm-hmm.
type of polymer clay, and then we have the earthen clay.
Mm-hmm.
And there's secondary and there's primary. The primary is probably what you deal mostly with when we talk about fine arts. It's the porcelain. It's the stuff that's really way deep,
Right.
that's coming from the granite. With the secondary clays, you probably have it in your kitchen, called creamware. It's a little bit different and lighter than porcelain, but it's your coffee mugs.
Right.
And we can make practically anything that we want from those 2 types of clay.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty incredible, but we're talking about dirt.
Right.
So, it cracks, it warps. Like you just said, you can experience making maybe a mug and it turns out to be maybe a bowl.
Right.
So, yeah, it's all about finesse and just inspiration.
Right. Yeah. I think it's interesting because I have learned a lot as the director and ordering the clays and things like that. And there are different bodies that we use sometimes with the kids. I think they're a little easier for them to use when they're hand building. There are
Exactly.
different types of glazes. And we're now actually, with our clay studio coordinator, very fortunate to be able to be creating our own glazes, which I think that the students are really appreciating because they get to figure out how they can take those glazes and create new colors and that type of thing. Talk a little bit about how that works.
Yeah. Cheers to Bauer doing their own glazes. It took me probably half a decade to create glazes,
Mm-hmm.
become good at it, and then actually create a different type of trademark color.
Right.
So cheers to the Bauer, because that's incredible, especially with Virginia's kind of relatively new passion for it. So it just goes to show that you can become a craftsman relatively
Absolutely. Yes.
quickly. But yeah, with glazes, you have a lot of earthen elements. People call it chemicals, but I hate chemicals because that sounds scary.
Right.
It's just earthen elements. A lot of it's clay,
Mm-hmm.
just with different melting points,
Right.
different shines. So yeah, a lot of glazes will have 8 different types of chemicals or elements. I saw that we have in the studio a lot of stoneware and earthenware. Earthenware is something it's very porous. It doesn't really hold a lot of water. Normally, we use that for like terracotta,
Right.
or hand building.
Right.
So we have a lot of red clay for that. It has a lot of what's called grog.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like sand or a bisque. Bisqueware is where it doesn't have clay.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have a glaze,
Right.
but it's still hardened. So
Right.
it's really rough like sandpaper, and
Right.
that's great for the hand building. So, and we use, I think, a lot of that
Yes.
for that reason. And then the stoneware, which many people don't know. You could fire that once. You don't even have to glaze it.
Right. It could
because
just be
it's-
natural.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have seen that some of the individuals that come in and take the class do like that natural
Mhm.
look, and
Yeah.
they love the earthenware, and and especially too with the glazes that they can use and create different colors. They do have. You can do the vibrant colors; those are available, but they have a more earthy look,
Yeah.
earth tones to them as
Yeah.
well.
More traditional, early American to more modern and popish.
Right. Yeah. And then there's also, I know a lot of, when we get a lot of questions related to the class, it's like, if I make a bowl, if I make a cup, is this going to be something that I can actually use? And that is yes. So there is
It's a big question.
functional pieces or pieces that you can use, but then there's also if you're just creating things for fun,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on the surface or what glazes that you make.
Right, right. Yeah. So I know that there are a lot of people that, just come in there and just create these, just fun and creative pieces that may just be a piece that they give as a gift that somebody sets on their table or hangs on their wall. And
Which
then
is
there's,
pretty neat.
yeah. And then there's a lot of folks that want to make real functional pieces that, they're going to be able to use in some capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your classes, what you're teaching at Bauer Center, and what students can expect.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have 3
Mhm.
currently, and also a workshop.
Mhm.
So all of them are really exciting. Right now, we have 2. We have hand building, and we have the beginners throwing
Mhm.
class. Throwing, by the way, is just like turning clay on a wheel, a
Mhm.
potter's wheel. So we have that class. Also, we have coming up a workshop on just about decoration, kind of how pottery has met the physical necessities as well as the necessity for like a canvas
Mhm.
for humanity to show and experience with one another, this
Right.
human experience. So that's going to be our workshop coming up with any class that you take at the Bauer specifically. I can tell you about mine. Is you're going to see hands-on
Mhm.
demonstrations. So it's not going to be textbook or just verbal communication. You're going to actually see it in real time.
Right.
You're going to have real-time feedback,
Mhm.
which is great because in a larger studio, which I've also been in, there's very little instruction
Right.
or personal feedback.
Right.
We actually spend time with each student saying, this is where you can improve. This is what you're struggling with, and why you're getting the results that you're not
Right.
aiming for.
Right.
So that's what anyone can expect.
Okay. Yeah. And so you mentioned your classes have just begun. One of
Mhm.
them just started yesterday. Your workshop though is coming up on June the 14th.
Yes.
Yes. 5:30 to 7:30. Now it says advanced clay workshop. What does advanced mean for the student?
Advanced is, I guess, the idea of wanting to dig deeper
Okay.
into surface design.
Okay.
Most of us are familiar with the different glazes,
Mhm.
maybe sgraffito, which a lot of people have heard about, where you actually make incisions on a pottery surface.
Mhm.
But we're going deeper into kind of the human experience of why we get different surfaces, or why clay is kind of the canvas for humanity to start to draw and kind of apply certain things
Mhm.
like texture. Um, for instance, in England, there was a printmaking term called intaglio.
Mhm.
It's been kind of lost
Right.
in most of our modern type of concept. But that's coming back. In fact, I have been using that, and
Mhm.
that's what I've been known for. I showed in Japan. I really want to take that type of international idea of what decoration is and in the different mediums and put them together. And
Okay.
that's why it's advanced.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I want to just let our listeners know that that workshop is still available for registration. They can do that on our website at bowercenter.org. Do you have any future plans or for opportunities that you're thinking about for the Bauer Center?
I do. I need to share it with you sometime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It is a growing program or
Right.
play,
Mhm.
and it's good to see that we do have more equipment, and now we have more instructors,
Yes.
and I think it's going to be a huge part of what we do.
Awesome. Well, we're really looking forward to that. And as we start to wrap up, I want to thank you for joining me today. I know you have a class this afternoon
Hmm.
as well,
Hmm.
so we're really excited for that. As I'm closing up today, I want to remind our listeners we currently are hosting our 12th annual National Juried Exhibition through June 15th. As a reminder, we have 64 artists represented with works from 10 states from across the country. I think there's about 62 works of art in this exhibit. So please come out and see that. We actually, next week, our guest on our podcast will be the judge of our National Juried Exhibition, Alan Tinbushen. And so he'll be coming in and talking about his thoughts on the exhibit and kind of getting us ready for the exhibit reception that'll be coming up. And then we have a concert this weekend. Sam Wheelock, he's an Appalachian singer and storyteller on Saturday, June 1st. So if you want to learn more about that, you can go back to last week's podcast. We interviewed Sam and you can learn more about him. I do have a special for today's listeners. So the first 10 listeners who call Amy at the Bauer Center, 540-586-4235, will get a free ticket for the concert. So first 10 listeners, call Amy at Bauer Center, let her know you listen to the podcast and you want to get that free ticket. And then as a reminder, our summer camps are starting in about a week and they're filling up fast. Our scholarships are available so that we can ensure that every child in our community has access to the arts. We are in the final week of a fundraiser to support our scholarship. It's called Raise 5,000 in 15 Days. We're about halfway there. So if you want to donate to support the Rod Adams Memorial Scholarship Fund, you can do that through our website as well at bowercenter.org. You can call and do it over the phone, or you can stop in. So, be sure and visit our website. It has all of our up-to-date information on our classes, our summer camps, our full schedule of concerts and performances, free at-home art activities to do with the kids over the summer. We update that monthly, and you can listen to our library of podcasts as well. So thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, Susan.
And we hope to have our listeners back next week and hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Thank you.